we live? Hello. Hi, Namaskaram. Very good evening to you all. Thank you once again for joining me in today's Shri Sai Satcharita Parayana. We are doing chapter 3 today. Let us begin. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Shri Saraswataya Namaha, Om Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha, Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Sai Satcharita, the life and teachings of Sai Baba, chapter 3, the purpose of the book, Baba's approbation of his Gatha. My obeisance to Shri Ganesh, to Shri Saraswati and Shri Guru Maharaj, to the family deity, to Shri Sita Ramachandra, my most humble obeisance. I bow in reverence to the most venerable Guru, Shri Sai Nath. Now to resume the connection with the foregoing story, Sai gave his full assurance to me, saying, "You have my full consent to write my life. You do your own part well. Have not the least hesitation in your mind. Trust my words fully and make a firm resolve in your mind. If my leelas are recorded, then any sins committed through ignorance will be dissipated. And when these are listened to with faith and devotion, the cares and troubles of worldly life will be forgotten." It's a very interesting thing what Baba has started with. It is so important to listen to the glories of the sages and the saints and the divine. We need to understand what is the divine leelas are all about. What is the life story of a saint? Why do they incarnate? Why do they come on this planet Earth? What is that they are trying to do? What is that they are teaching? All these things we must listen. And once you listen, your mind will be purified, your heart will be purified. You will be liberated from the worldly bondage and miseries of all the material worldly existence. So let us dwell in this nectarine knowledge of Sai Baba's Leelas. Come join me every day and let us have a wonderful time listening together, a beautiful satsang on Shri Sai Satcharita. Waves of love and devotion will surge on the ocean of listening, diving again and again, into which will bring gems of wisdom into your hands. On hearing this, my mind was cleared of all doubts. I bowed at Sai's feet and began writing his life as I could recollect it. As these words came from Baba's lips, I committed the fact firmly to my mind that this writing of Baba's life was definitely going to take place, and I will only be a laborer pressed into service. We are all but instruments in the hands of the divine. Whatever the divine wills is what we are here to serve their purpose. So selfless service, listening, writing, or even narrating your experiences and talking about all these leelas will definitely evolve you on your path of spiritual, and most important is love and devotion to the divine. See how incomprehensible is Hari's Leela. None but he can understand it. Shruti, Dharma Shastra, Vedas all fell silent. No one could fathom it. Do not be taken in by those proficient scriptures or those engrossed in the letter and not the spirit of the Vedas. The highly intelligent Pandits or those engaged in unprofitable wrangling to prove a point with examples as ghat, the earthen vessel, pata, cloth, etc. Shri Hari, God, is the sport of his own devotees. That is, he dances to their tune, hungering for the simple and the guileless devotees and enslaved altogether by love. But to the hypocrites, he remains unattainable always. I must say my experience over here. The gurus or the divine beings who manifest and are imparting this knowledge, they have a very unique way and ways that are completely unfathomable. They are childlike behavior. They are literally a child. Their way of doing things is so sweet. It's full of love for their devotees. Lord Shri Krishna has said once, I am the servant of my devotees, and I am the servant, and touch the feet of my devotees who is devoted unto their Guru. And this is a very profound statement. Lord Shri Krishna himself manifests in this world to set an example of what it means to be humble, what it means to be in love, how to be devoted. Devotion is a very beautiful aspect of life. Devotion to the divine is amazing. It is beyond how we can express in this material world. It is not that I'm devoted to my family. It is not I'm devoted to my child. It is far greater than that. And this devotion, the divine themselves granted, this devotion can only be granted by the Guru himself when he's pleased with your guileless heart, the pure heart, which is full of innocence. It should not have the greed, the greediness, the evilness, the ill will, wickedness, none of this. And when you have such a pure heart is when the divine will manifest himself with you, and he will come and impart all those knowledge. Not only that, he'll come and dance to your tunes. What does that mean, dancing to your tunes? It is something that you wish for. It just happens in your life. You don't even have to ask for it, but it has to be desireless. You're just lost in the divine. This is how it has to be. And let us understand in detail what it means to be devoted, what it means to be in love with the divine. It is much beyond than the material worldly love. It's not the love that you can have for your family, husband, wife, children, mother, father. It's greater than that. This love is unconditional and unfathomable. Only in this lies your welfare. For me too, it means fulfillment of my descent upon this earth. And you see, this is what I always repeat frequently, and this has been my constant concern. Moreover, one thing I tell you, Shama Madhavrao Deshpande, I grant all the wishes of him who chants my name with love and faith, which in turn enhances his devotion to me, so that he who fondly sings my praises or narrates the story of my life will always see me standing in front of him and behind and everywhere around him. All the devotees who are attached to me, heart and soul, will naturally be delighted listening to these stories. Whoever sings my praises in Kirtan, to him I shall give total perfect happiness, peace and contentment always. This is my promise. This is the truth. The divine is always standing as your backbone. His grace is always there. You just need to unravel that. You need to be full of devotion. You need to come and listen to this love, the nectarine gems that is found in the scriptures, which is not otherwise available anywhere else in this world. No other Vedas and Shastras can give you or impart any of these knowledge. It's not mere letters. It is far beyond that. This is God himself. This is the Guru himself. He is explaining who he is and how do we live a righteous life while doing our dharma, while following the path of dharma, while doing our duties and yet being lost in the divine. This is what he's teaching. And he's saying, when you do all of this, nothing shall befall you. Everything that is required for you, it's I am the one who grants it to you. You don't even have to ask. So this is a very beautiful thing. And what is granted by the divine is absolutely, there's no sins attached to that. And there's no karma attached to that. And that is the beauty of it. He who gives himself up to me with single-minded devotion and sings my praises with full faith, remembers me and contemplates on me, the deliverance of him is my promise. Where my name, devotion, a record of my leelas, my poti, and my contemplation is constantly present in the heart, how can sensual desires even arise there? Even if my stories are merely listened to, all the diseases will be cured, and I shall pull out my devotees from the jaws of death. Wow, this is so profound. He's not saying that you just have to go and talk about it or do something. Just listening is good enough, where all your diseases, all your karmas will be just redeemed. And the Lord himself is saying here, I will pull my devotees from the jaws of the death. That is the power of this poti. That is the power of his leelas, the account that you're listening to. So listen in with rapt attention and let's redeem our life. Let us take this God-given opportunity and not waste our one birth that we have, the human birth that we have. Listen to the stories with reverence. Reflect upon them deeply. After reflection, contemplate on them. This will bring great satisfaction. The mind will transcend the consciousness of self, and the differentiated consciousness will dissolve. And by a single-minded, absolute faith, the heart, chitta, will become a mass of divine energy. Repetition of the name Sai, Sai will burn down sins resulting from the evil desires of Kali Yuga. A mere prostration before me is enough to destroy the past sins of speech and hearing. Again, this is a very important thing to learn and understand. When we touch the feet of the Guru, what do you think we are doing? We are transferring all our sins. The Guru is absolving our karmas. Just falling at his feet. The Guru is such a great being. He's taking away all your sins, your insatiable desires, greeds, whatever that is. He's just absolving all and giving you the grace of being evolving in the spiritual, of being in spiritual, of knowing the God, or knowing the truth, or even understanding what is this. You need to contemplate. You need to do, you have to reflect. What is here Baba talking about? Why is he saying something? You need to go listen. First you need to listen, then go and contemplate on it and get your own answers, understand, and then you have to question. And that is how you can evolve on the path of spiritual. Even if you think you can't question, you don't understand, just leave it. Just surrender to him. And that is more than enough. And that is what he's saying. You don't have to be a scholar. You don't have to be a pandit, or you don't have to be a knowledgeable person, or you don't even have to have knowledge. All you need to have is love and devotion, faith and surrender, and have that Shraddha and Saburi unto the lotus feet of the divine. Although the work of writing Sai's life was a no mean task, with profound reverence I obeyed his command. With so generous a giver as Baba, why should I accept a lowly position? He got some devotees to build temples. Some others he got deeply interested in doing kirtans. Some he sent on pilgrimages, but as for me, he bade me write. Of them all, I am the lowliest, by virtue of which quality in me, this Sai, the ocean of kindness and mercy, was so pleased with me, I failed to understand. We judge ourselves. We try to compare ourselves with some other beings. We try to say, oh, we are not capable enough, or we are not the right person to do this job. It's not for us to determine whether we are capable or not. It is for the divine himself, because he's the one who's getting the work done through you. You're nothing but just a conduit or a tool or an instrument in the hands of the divine. And it's more important that you have to constantly chant his name, and that itself is enough to purify your heart and your mind. And you will see the truth. You will get out of this material worldly desires, the insatiable desires, and you will not be thrown into this age of iron, Kali Yuga, where everybody is fast hurtling towards just filled with lust and greed. You will be saved from that. But this is the marvel of Guru's grace, so that where there is not a drop of water, even on such a dry, stiff tree, flowers bloom and fruit grows abundantly without any effort. In the days to come, some will build ashrams, some temples, others will construct a ghat on the river bank. But let us follow the beaten track and read Sai's life story. Some offer puja with great reverence, some others gently press his feet. But my heart was eager to sing Baba's praises. What could be attained by meditation in the Krita or Sat Yuga? By performing sacrifices in the Treta Yuga, by ritualistic puja in the Dwapar Yuga, can all be attained in this Kali Yuga by praising the name of God and by worshipping the Guru. This is again a very important thing. And if you have read Bhagavad Gita, and in that Lord Krishna explains 4 different paths to attaining the divine. One is through Jnana, one is through Karma Yoga, one is through Raj Yoga, and the other one is through Bhakti Marg. And the highest path or the best path in today's day and age in the Kali Yuga is Bhakti. And even otherwise, you don't even have to do all the 3. But when you follow the path of Bhakti, Lord Shri Krishna has himself said that I will grant them all the other things in their life, because as a human body you have to do your karma, you have to perform whether you like it or not. So when you have the devotion, your duties become effortless. You will just keep going on performing it, being lost in the divine. So here what is written is that, can we attain all of this just by praising the divine? Can we attain all of that by just being devoted and listening to this beautiful leelas? That is what he's saying here. And that is the best path. Bhakti Marg is the ultimate goal of reaching the divine. My unworthiness for this work is blatant. As I am jack of all trades, master of none, why then should I have taken upon myself such a massive and difficult task? To sit back without making an effort will make me guilty of the sin of disobedience. And if I were to obey his command, how can I prove myself equal to the task? After all, who can describe accurately and adequately the inward state of Samarth Sai? Only when he himself bestows grace for the sake of his own devotees and himself makes his devotee describe it, it is possible. See, you know what? Our mind is constantly going to keep throwing doubts. No matter how much the Guru says, look, please go teach. The words is going to flow from my mouth. But there is always this mind which throws up doubts. I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know how am I going to say. I'm nervous. Your mind keeps telling you, oh, you're nervous. You don't know what you're going to talk. How are you going to give an explanation? Who do you think you are to give an explanation? These are called doubts. We need to trust the divine. When the Guru says, just do it. And that is exactly what even Hemad here is trying to say. But it's his mind which is trying to, create all these doubts in him. But know that when you're the chosen one, when the divine has taken on that task, he's just using you as an instrument to get the words come from your mouth. Why are you thinking you're giving an explanation? Or why does anybody think that I am writing it? I is the ego. Stop this I. Just surrender. Let the words be of your wisdom. That is all you have to say. And the words will flow. It doesn't matter how it comes. Why are you putting your mind to it? Just surrender and do what you have asked to do. And that is extremely important on the path of devotion. How do you get devotion? Is just by surrendering. Surrendering the mind, the body, the senses, and your everything. Your anger, greed, desires, you name it. Everything at the lotus feet of the divine, the Guru. And then just go and do your job. Do not question. But I have left no room for anyone to say as to why am I aspiring to do that which is beyond the reach of words. For the moment I took pen in hand, Baba subdued my ego, the I in me, and took upon himself the writing of his own life story. Thus, all the credit for writing it is entirely his. This is, after all, the writing of a saint's life. Who else but a saint himself can do it? To try to comprehend the incomprehensible qualities of Baba is like attempting to embrace the boundless sky above. Profound and unfathomable is his greatness, while to describe it, I have not the intellectual capacity. It is better that he should take this work in his own hands and redeem his promise. Baba, though I am a Brahmin by birth, yet I am without the two eyes of the Vedas and Puranas. And even though this is a blemish on my high birth as a Brahmin, you have brought glory to it. Shruti and Smriti are the two eyes of a Brahmin. When one of these is absent, he is blind in one eye. And when both are absent, he is totally blind. I am as deficient, as lowly as the latter. So here he's simply trying to again say this, right? I am not capable. I am not this person who is capable to write, though I desire to write. It is still the doubt he is hankering in his mind. But again, what he's also trying to come to is Baba himself has to use me to get his leelas written, to get his stories written, to express what is this Sai's feeling of that self. What is that Sai can think inside? It's not a thinking because they don't have mind. Thinking is a wrong word to use. But what is he trying to say is, how do I express that state? Expressing Sai state is completely not possible. It's incomprehensible because the divine they're inscrutable. You cannot even fathom them. So how can somebody like him explain? But here, the whole purpose is Sai himself is going to give him that knowledge, and the words is going to flow from his hand. The pen is just going to write. He's just an instrument. He has to just move his hand and he will write it. But when you are blind man's staff, why should I be distressed? Leaning on it, I will walk behind you on the beaten track. Now how to proceed further? I, a lowly creature, know not. You yourself must guide my mind to get your own purpose accomplished. He alone understands his own artful ways, whose inconceivable, mysterious powers moves the dumb to speak as Brihaspati, and the lame to cross the great Meru mountains. I am but a slave at your feet. Do not disappoint me. So long as there is breath in this body, do get your own purpose accomplished. And now, all my listeners, you have understood the purpose of writing this book. It is Sai himself who will get it written. Nay, he will himself write it for the benefit of his devotees. What music it produces is no concern of the flute or the harmonium. The effort comes entirely from the performer. Why then should I become miserable? It's the same thing, It's so beautiful. As I'm even narrating, I'm thinking I'm explaining. I don't know what to explain. Do I even know this? But it's just Baba telling. Who do you think you are to explain? Why is this ego I? It's my words. The words are of my wisdom. It's flowing through your mouth. Just do it. So likewise, you all have to just do your job. Just surrender at the feet of the divine, and you will be guided on the path on how to do, what to do, and everything. And things will just automatically happen. Everything will open up. But most important, you have to put your effort. Don't think that, oh Baba, I'll hold this pen and sit. You're just going to make it right through me. No, you have to move your hands. You have to make the effort to sit and write. The knowledge will be given to you. The words will come. The pen will have to be, you have to make the effort to write, and the pen is not going to move on its own, but you have to make an effort. And when you put that effort, the words will come. It will get written in a magical manner. So trust and have that faith. In the nectar that the Chandrakant or the moon gem exudes, a creation of its own, no indeed, it is the marvel of the moon, her creation, as she rises on the horizon. Again, when there is a high tide at sea, are the surging waves a handiwork of the sea? It cannot produce them on its own, but has once again to depend upon the moonrise. Just as a buoy with a red light is anchored in the sea to stir the ship clear of rocks and whirlpools, thereby speeding up their onward movements. So these stories of Sainath, the sweetness of which puts even the nectar in the shade, will make easy and safe the crossing of the otherwise impassable ocean of the worldly life. Blessed are these stories of the saints, which as they enter the heart through the ear, clear it of the bodily conceit, so that the question of pairs of opposites does not remain at all. A very important lesson again. What does this pairs of opposite does not remain here at all means? We as human beings are always in the yo-yo state. We either are happy or we are sad. Something good is happening or something bad is happening. We're always either we love someone or we hate someone. We're constantly between the two states. We are yo-yo. We are not centered. The only way to attain the divine, to have the equanimity of mind, which means something good happens, you don't have to bother about it. Something bad happens, never bother about it. There's a very beautiful saying, never let success get to your head or failure to your heart. One of the most beautiful teachings which my Guruji, my Krishna Guruji imparts is, why do you always keep swaying? He keeps telling me, you are in spiritual. Why does anything affect you? Why should the pairs of opposites affect you? In life, we're always going to have ups and downs. Does that mean I get disturbed? The only state of being in devotion is nothing should disturb you. Why should it matter? Everything is just like a blip in the ocean. It comes, it goes. Be it happiness or be it sadness. Nothing is permanent. But the one truth which is permanent is the divine, the blissful state. It's not the happy and the sad state. It is the blissful state that you need to attain. So don't go, let your mind go yo-yo. Stop and think, what is this success or failure all about? If we get money, we're extremely happy. When we don't have money, we're crying, we're ruined. Why should it be? Why can't we just let surrender? Whatever the divine will is, everything will be fine. And this is the conviction that you need to have to evolve on the path of spiritual. And this is the most important criteria, that you need to have that centeredness. And as these stories are being stored in the heart, so are all the doubts and questions in the mind gradually resolved. Pure knowledge gets stored abundantly, and the false puffed up pride in the body climbs down. Wow, this is so beautiful. Pride. We human beings have false prides. We think we know end of ourselves. We think we are the greatest thing on planet Earth. We have this so much of ego, arrogance. Why do we need all that? What is this pride all about? And in front of a divine being, you're nothing but just some dust from somewhere. It is that I which you need to surrender first. You need to become the clay in the hands of the divine, and the divine will mold you in becoming a very beautiful being who the divine wants you to be. And that is when you can serve in the world, being lost in the divine selflessly. The word here is you have to serve everybody selflessly. You have to do your karma or the duties in a selfless manner. You should not bother about what is the end result is going to be. Good or bad, it doesn't matter. Success or failure, you just leave the end result in the hands of the divine. What he has to give you, let him give. Why are you worried about it? Whether I'm going to get, first rank or 10th rank, how does it matter? You just need to put your effort. 100% effort is very important in whatever you do. Even being it a small task. Even it just means like you sweep the house. Do it with utmost sincerity. That is very important. Which means you're focusing 100% in doing that job. You're giving your best to it. And don't bother about the result. Never focus on the result. And this is one very important lesson. It has taken me many years under my guru's guidance that I have learned. Why am I bothered? My job is only to do what he gives. That is his wish. Whether it is good or bad. Even I have gone through different sorts of experiences in my life. There has been good experiences. There has been bad. Does it mean that I stop living? No, it's just a progress. You finish with it, move on to the next. Don't stop it. Like my Guruji always says, just do it. Nike. Narration of Baba's pure divine qualities, listening to it lovingly, will destroy the sins of his devotees. It is the most easy way for spiritual progress. What is pure Brahman beyond Maya? By what means can this Maya be overcome? And how does one endear oneself to God? By keeping his behavior in conformity with karma dharma. What is the ultimate, the highest well-being of a man? What is devotion, deliverance and total detachment? What is varnashram? What is varnashram dharma and advait or non-duality? These and other such subjects are very abstruse. Those who are interested in them should indulge their great desire for proficiency by reading various books written by Jnaneshwar, Eknath and others. Restraint and control over the mind and the senses in Krita Yuga, ritual sacrifices in the Treta Yuga, ritualistic worship and puja in the Dwapar Yuga, and chanting the Naam, narrating the stories and singing the praises of God in Kali Yuga. These are the easy ways for attaining salvation. Again, I think he's repeating the same thing, but what he's saying is so absolutely right. In Kali Yuga, the only path of attaining the divine is through bhakti alone. It's only love and devotion that can give you that liberation, but nothing else. And I think there are different subjects that he said in the previous verse, like what is the ultimate, the highest well-being of a man? This is a very important question you have to ask yourself. And these are some of these answers which is going to come in the many chapters, the next few chapters and the many chapters mentioned in the scripture. And you will learn Baba giving a detailed explanation with some of the most beautiful leelas that he's going to talk about. And that's going to give you some of the most thought-provoking answers that you need for your own self. To understand, why am I born as a human? What is the purpose of my birth? What am I doing here? What does detachment mean? What does devotion mean? What does deliverance mean? You need to have an understanding for all this. But this is not the material worldly understanding, but this is the spiritual understanding, which will help you evolve beyond your mundane existence. And that is what we will learn here. To all the four varnas, that is Brahmins, etc., there is only one means for salvation, and that is listening to the stories of the Guru. Be it a woman or a Shudra or even a casteless one, this is but one means for all of them. And again, it's not just the divine, but the most important emphasis is given, this Leelas of a Guru. Why a Guru is given such a predominance position here? There's a very nice saying, not a saying, a very beautiful verse in Guru Charitra, and in that this is mentioned. When the gods get angry, the Guru can save you. But when the Guru gets angry, there is nobody in the world to save you. A Guru is greater even than the God. So the highest worship that you can do is worshipping your master. When you worship the Guru, you're worshipping all the gods and goddesses in this entire universe. So let's understand, what is the significance of Guru? Who is this Guru? And what is the word Guru means? And I will give you a very beautiful explanation about what is this Guru, who is Guru. And I'm going to talk about my own Guruji, how I have evolved with him and in the last many years. And it's amazing. I cannot describe, I cannot put this in words. May His grace work through me so that I'm able to explain who this Guru is all about. What does it mean to go through the spiritual journey under the tutelage of such a divine being? Such a great person who appears like an ordinary human being. And why do they do that? Only he, with a store of accumulated merit, will listen to these tales. Some may even be overcome by sleep. Them too, Shri Hari will wake up. That is so profound. Only with the grace, accumulated merit. Most important is you need to have some good karmas or merit that you have accumulated from your past lives. Only then can you listen to these words of truth. And even to those who are asleep, Lord Hari himself will awaken you. And that is so beautiful. Pining for unceasing sensual pleasures and becoming abject when these cannot be had. Even to such, the elixir of saints' lives will bring total freedom from sensual pleasures. Even a human being with the most insatiable desires can overcome all of that by just listening to this nectarine truth about the sages and the saints. It's amazing, the power of the Guru. Yoga, yajna, sacrifices, dhyan and dharana entail arduous efforts. No effort is needed to listen to these tales except your attention. Such is this Sai story, pure and sacred. May the loving, noble listeners listen to it, and even their 5 great sins will be burned down and destroyed. Wow, can we even imagine that today those who are listening and the one who is narrating here, somewhere we have some merit, and he's telling here what is that we will achieve by you listening and me narrating. And let us be very thankful and offer our gratitude unto this divine master and the being. By the bondage of this worldly life, we are relentlessly bound, and in the folds of this bondage is our true self enveloped. Listening to the tale will loosen up these encircling folds, and the original real self will be revealed. And so, may these stories be remembered till we die. May their study be always carried on, so that they bring peace and contentment to the beings burnt in the conflagration of worldly life and its sorrows. It doesn't mean that today you're listening and then tomorrow you forget the story. The most important is you need to take the essence and always keep within your heart and doing manan over it. You have to contemplate, you have to introspect and get your answers. And this reading, at least you should do once in a while. See, we have so much time that we have time to eat, time to sleep, time to do so many other frivolous things in this world. Can we give little bit of our time from our life to the divine, to this beautiful purpose, which is going to give such great, I don't know if you want to call benefits Yes, such great benefits which is priceless. You can't even price tag it. That is what you're going to get. Give some time of your life in reading the scriptures, in having that focused attention, in doing the devotion, or just the prayer, whatever that you can, or even taking the name of the divine. Reading the stories, listening to them with faith and devotion, contemplation will come of itself readily of Sai, whose form will then appear before the eyes and will be fixed in the heart. May the worship of Sadguru be accomplished in this way, and a detachment from the worldly life come about. May a fondness grow within for the remembrance of the Guru, and the mind be purified. So profound. Just the thought, just the remembrance of his name, of his form, will redeem you from this worldly life miseries. Why can't we invest that little time? In 24 hours, I think you can just give 1 hour. That's a big deal. No, it's not. I think it's priceless. It's worth it. We have spent all our life. We sleep at least 6 hours minimum. Can I just dedicate that 1 hour, get up 1 hour early and give that dedication of listening to the divine? I think you will definitely be benefiting. And I'm sure it'll help you in the long run as well. How to follow the righteous path in this world. When everybody is going through that, the muck and the gutters, the way the world is hurtling fast, they're all lost in the miseries around. I think you will be able to stand out just like the lotus. And Lord Krishna is always referred to, the lotus leaf, the water is untouched. And the lotus itself grows in the muck, but yet it shines beautifully. It doesn't get touched by what is inside, what is happening around us. That is what you'll be able to attain. With the same thought in mind, Sainath must have blessed me, putting me forward as a pretext. He has himself accomplished his purpose. Udders are painfully distended to overflowing with milk, but the cow will not let the milk flow without her calf. This is her natural instinct. Such is also Sai's liking. As I, a chatak bird, wished for this, my mother rained on me a cloud of happiness to quench, not only my mild thirst, small wish, but also that of the other devotees abundantly. Oh, for the marvel of a mother's devotion and love! Only a mother can instinctively feel her child's pangs of hunger and thrust the nipple of her breast into his mouth without his even opening it. But who will understand her strain, her weariness? This child is not even aware of it, but for the mother, who will offer the breast to the child unasked. This is a very profound thing. A guru is the greater mother than anybody else in this world. A guru's love is universal. He doesn't compare, oh, this is my child, I will love more, and this is somebody else's child, I will not love. No, the guru's love is greater than even a mother's love. Yes, they have given a reference here to a mother's love, but I personally, in my experience, my guru, I call him Krishna Ma, because he's the greatest mother that I've ever seen. His love is selfless for everybody in this world. And this is what I experience in a guru. See, my mother can only love me, or so your mother can only love you because she's given you birth. But can she love your friend the same way as she can love you? No, this is what the gurus can do. They take everybody else's children, the entire creation, as their own children. And they care about everybody's well-being. They don't discriminate. They don't differentiate. And this is the truth about a guru. The guru is the greatest mother on this planet Earth and this entire universe. When a child is adorned with little trinklets, he has neither any pleasure nor interest in it. Only the mother knows what joy and admiration it excites. Such are also the doings of the Sadguru. And who but a mother will yearn with tenderness and concern as to who will satisfy her infant's childish pleasures? Rare is such tender, heartfelt affection. To be born to a good, righteous mother is indeed the gift of God, enjoyed only by the most fortunate. The child knows not the birth pangs she suffers to bring it into the world. Let me now narrate to you another of Baba's sayings with the same significance. O you virtuous listeners, give your respectful attention to it. Yes, only the mother knows what pain it is to bring up a child or give birth. Likewise, the Guru is the mother who gives birth to the divine being in us. We become twice born when we are initiated by the Guru. The day we meet the Guru removes all our material, worldly and our past births from us, and he gives us a new garb, a new name. He initiates on the path of spirituality. We become part of his family. We become a part of a divine family. And the Guru wears himself out to serve his devotees, his children, his entire creation. And he strives so much that he takes on all your karmas on himself and gives you all the beautiful treasures that you cannot even imagine. Though he has nothing, he's the master of this universe. He owns everything. Yet in person, in physical, he owns nothing. But he is the one who grants you everything. And this is the greatest mother that you can ever imagine. If you meet such a divine being, catch his lotus feet. Never leave him. Never leave your Guru. Because rare are such beings, and fortunate are the ones who can find them. My government service was completed in the year 1916, and a suitable pension was fixed for me. It was also the time to go to Shirdi. It was the Guru Purnima day. Devotees had gathered for the Guru's puja. Suddenly, on his own inspiration, Anna Chinchanikar made a request to Baba, strongly recommending my case. In his genuine concern for me, Anna beseeched Baba thus: have compassion on him, that is me, Baba, for the sake of his growing family. Do give him another job. Is this pension going to suffice? Please do something whereby his worry is warded off. Baba then said in reply, oh, some service he will get, but he should now engage in my service and he will get happiness in this life. His plates will always be full. Never will they be empty so long as he lives. If he always seeks my protection with full faith in me, his troubles will end. People who say, what does it matter if we do as we like? Know that they have strayed away from the path. And all those who have abandoned virtuous demeanor, we must first and foremost avoid. This is so true. When you are devoted to the divine takes care of each and every need of his. He's the one who's given birth to you. What makes you think that you are responsible for your life or anybody else associated or in this world, associated with you or in this world? You are not. He's the master of he's the father and he's the mother. He knows what is right for you and he will bestow upon you that which is required by you. Nothing less, nothing more. Similarly, here he's saying, if you're not having that faith and if you have not surrendered, then you are lost in the material world like everybody else. Because not everybody gets to be with the divine beings. And he's also saying that people who says, what does it matter if we do as we like? Oh, the like and dislike is mind. I am the greatest. No, it doesn't work. You're not the greatest. The only one who's greatest in this entire universe is the divine, is the Lord himself. So this is the most important thing you need to understand. When you surrender, he takes the entire burden on himself. Even without you opening your mouth, everything else is granted. Take the other direction when they come from the front. Consider them to be frightful. Do not let even their shadow touch you, even if it means bearing some pain. How can he, who is devoid of a code of conduct, without character, thoughtless, neglect of prescribed observances and ordinances, and indiscriminating between right and wrong, how can such a one achieve his real welfare? Moreover, do not repulse or reject anyone contemptuously, be it then a dog, a pig, or a common fly, for without some special bond from the previous birth, no one comes to you. It's again a very, very profound lesson. We all have a very interesting thing. I like somebody, I don't like somebody. Oh, this person is good, this person is bad. We constantly keep making judgments. Who are we to make judgments? The reason why we meet all these people in our life is very well said here, because of some past karmas. We have to meet them. As this body, we have come here to redeem our karma. So when we are going on our path, we are going to meet these passengers. Life is like a train journey. Some will get off at maybe at 2 stations, some will stay there midway, and some throughout your life. But are you going to get attached? Are you going to say, I like someone, I don't like someone? You see so many passers by. Do you think you have the choice to say, oh, I like this person, I don't like? No, you have to be equal to everybody in this world. And that is what Baba is saying here. Don't have any biases. It's not relevant. Can you see everyone with the eye of equanimity, with love, with goodness, with kindness and compassion? That is the most important thing. And if you cannot have these qualities, you are not fit to even be in spiritual. You have to be into the material world, who is going to go through the cycle of birth and death constantly. And that is what you have to be, and that's a choice that you have. Henceforward, he, that is Hemad Panth, should serve me with devotion, and the Almighty take pity on him. He will attain the inexhaustible treasure laid up in heaven. How then should this puja be performed? How to know for certain who am I? For my size physical body is mortal, while only Brahman, which is immortal, is worthy of being worshipped. So listen, I pervade the universe on all the four sides in the form of the eightfold Ashtadha, eightfold Prakriti. Bhagavan Shri Krishna has also said the same to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. Whatever exists in this sentient and insentient universe as a name, a form or a shape is only myself bedecked as the eightfold Prakriti. It is also a marvel of my own creation. This entire universe is nothing but the extension of the divine only. And what here God is saying is that we have to see the divine in everything. The entire creation, be it sentient or insentient beings, everything is the divine himself. The mystical symbol Om is expressive of me, and I alone am the subject of that expression. Many are the things in this manifested universe, but even these are all filled with me. Thus, where there is nothing different from the self, what can one desire? I alone pervade all the places in all the 10 quarters of the universe. With this awareness of my all-pervasiveness, where the feeling of I and mine has dissolved, what objects can be desirable? For all is filled with the whole. Desire arise in the intellect and have no connection with the Atman or self. Since I, Sai Maharaj, am the embodiment of the Atman, how can there be any stirrings of desires? Worldly desires are of various types, but once the significance of who am I is understood, they melt away as the hailstones by the heat of the sun's rays. I am not the gross form with the mind, intellect and other sense organs, nor the gigantic universe, nor am I the unmanifest Brahmanda. I am the seer, ancient and without beginning. In this way, I who transcend the gunas and the senses, I am not attracted to the sensual pleasures. There is not a place without me. I am neither the doer nor the one who causes it to be done. This is a very, very esoteric and a most profound knowledge what is being imparted. But I'm just going to give you a very simple explanation of all of this. What he's saying here is that he's saying everything is me alone, yet I am not that. And when you are self-realized, or when you understand that you are that self, then there is no desires left of desiring an object in this world. You become a desireless being, and that is why the sages and the saints and all the great gurus are desireless being. They have no desires, yet they can grant all of your desires, and that is who they are. But the most important aspect here is that this entire creation is an essence of the divine himself. You need to be able to see this whole creation as one, and that is what he's talking about. Even Lord Shri Krishna has said in Bhagavad Gita, this entire universe has manifested from me. I am in every being, every particle. You can see me. So God has to be experienced in every aspect of life, because we have this habit of differentiating. Our mind judges. We have the likes and dislikes. We're always drawn into the pairs of opposites, and that is where you need to stop doing that and see God in everything, and then you will transcend the gunas. Baba has transcended the mind, body, the senses and the three gunas. He's beyond that. He's the Sachidanand. He's always in a blissful state because he knows he's not the body. Only there is the realization that the intellect, mind and other sense organs are but gross instruments of the physical body. True detachment will appear, unveiling real knowledge. Oblivion of the self is itself the appearance of Maya, or illusion that the world is real. Realization of the pure bliss within is to know me, the essence of all being. And this is so true. When you think you're the body, you're the mind, you're the senses, you're always going to be in an illusion. You can never realize the self. But when you transcend all of this, that is when you will understand you're none other than that self alone, the divine being. To such a one then as me, when all the workings of my mind, all affections are turned, that is the true service and true worship to me. To experience the bliss of consciousness, that is me, is to be in that pure state which is knowledge. This Atman is Brahman. Pure consciousness and bliss are Brahman. But this universe is not real and hence creates illusions about itself. In truth, the Brahman is me alone. So he's saying everything is the divine being himself. So where is it that there is a duality here? There is no duality. We have different bodies and we think, oh, you have a name given to your body, I have a name given to my body. So I think we are two different people. No, but we are all one alone. And that is what he's saying here. I am Vasudev, I am Om, I am eternal, pure, enlightened and emancipated. Worshipping me with faith and devotion will only lead to self-upliftment. Thus, knowing who I am, I should truly be worshipped. Moreover, surrender to me wholeheartedly and become one with me. When the river gives herself up to the ocean, can she ever come back again as river? Can she retain her separate identity as a river once she has embraced the vast ocean? Actually, this is a very profound example which is always quoted in the Vedas and Shastras. It said that the river goes and merges with the ocean and then the river loses its identity. Similarly, when we merge with the divine, we lose this identity of I, me and minus, and then we become the one with the divine. Then we are the ocean itself. So you become the ocean, then you are no longer the independent river that you were. So go and merge and let's become one with the divine and experience the beautiful, blissful state. An oil-soaked cotton wick, as she meets the flame from the lamp, herself acquires greater brilliance and burns brighter. Such is also our progression at the feet of the saints. He whose mind reflects upon nothing except on Allah Malik, the fountain of life, who is unruffled and calm, has no desires or expectation, and looks upon all equally, how can he have an identity separate from the Supreme Being? Where the four divine qualities of detachment and desirelessness, freedom from conceit, from the pairs of opposites, and non-possession reside, how can consciousness of self as separate from Brahman prevail there? Here it's talking about the different qualities of the saints, or what does Baba is. Who is the Baba? Who is this Guru? What are the qualities of such realized beings? And that is what we are experiencing here. It is important to understand how to recognize them and what is that they are. They can show you different mayas with how they appear, how they speak, what they do, but you can't fathom them and you can't judge them. That is what you need to know. In short, when all these 8 divine qualities dwell in Shri Sai, where is the room for the ego? How can I have an existence or individual identity apart from him? For my individual consciousness is but a tiny particle of his consciousness which fills the universe, so that to surrender my ego at Sai's feet is my most complete service to him. Absolutely. We have to surrender the ego, the mind, the arrogance, the senses, everything unto the feet of the master. And only then can you even evolve on the path of spirituality, on the path of knowing what is this truth all about. And then you can become the instrument in the hands of the divine, not until then. In Srimad Bhagavat, Shri Krishna has affirmed that he who serves me, sings my praises and surrenders to me wholeheartedly becomes one with me. And this is so true. Lord Shri Krishna himself has said, not just in Srimad Bhagavatam, but he's talked about in Uddhav Gita and in Bhagavad Gita, that you have to surrender to him. You have to sing his praises. You have to become one with him. Only then can you attain him, not otherwise. There is no room for your ego, mind, arrogance, all that. It doesn't count. Then he says, right, you will be an hypocrite and living in the material world. You cannot reach the divine. You cannot even know them. And in that, the divine will appear to you as a delusion. That will become a maya. You can never recognize the divine. And this is the truth about spirituality. Even a worm that contemplates intently on the large black bee is by virtue of it transformed into one. And so also the disciple who worships his own guru with the same intensity becomes like the guru. And this is so true. They say It's what you keep thinking about it, you become that. Your thoughts become who you are. So when you keep looking at, actually in Guru Charitra, one of the gurus of Lord Dattatreya is this, the last guru. In this, one of this, I'm sorry I forgot the name of that, the insect. It keeps seeing this black insect and it becomes that. I'm actually nervous because I forgot the word, but it's okay, it will come to me. So it becomes that. Similarly, when we keep looking at our guru and we keep taking his name, we become like him. So we transform into that divine being. And this is the power of the Naam, this is the power of the devotion, and this is the power of being in the company of the sages and saints. And that is why we have to constantly be in the company of the holy and the satsangis. And we have to do satsangs where we are talking and listening to the divine glories of such great beings. And yet the degree of separateness implied by the word like is something a guru cannot bear even for a moment. For there is no guru without the disciple, and the disciple is inseparable from the guru. And so I have defined him whom I have been commanded to worship. And here I just remember a story which, because of its appropriateness in this context, I shall now narrate. Yes, it is very true. There is no guru without a disciple, and there is no disciple with a guru. It's two sides of the same coin. But I always believe it's the guru who finds the disciple. It's not me finding him. But it's about building that, the desire of knowing who I am, or desire to wanting to be devoted, has to come from within you. And when that comes, only when the guru will find you. So you have to seek first, and the guru finds you. So be that seeker, and you will meet your guru. At Rohila, Pathan, who was greatly attracted by Baba's Rohila Pathan, who was greatly attracted by Baba's divine qualities, once came to Shirdi. For many days he stayed in Shirdi, during which time there grew in his heart great love and devotion for Baba. Like a fleshy, full-fed he-buffalo, in his physique and in behavior, quite unrestrained and self-willed, he would heed no one. With only a kafni reaching down to his feet to cover him, he came and stayed at the mosque. By day and by night, in the mosque or in the Chavdi, village hall. Very fervently, he would recite at the top of his voice the kalmas, verses from the Quran. Whenever it pleased him to do so, Sai Maharaj himself was peace incarnate, but the villagers were growing very wary. Even at midnight, his clamour continued, disturbing everybody's sleep. By day, they toiled in the fields or in the woods under the scorching heat of the sun. But even at night, there was no peaceful slumber. It vexed the people in the extreme. Maybe Baba was not troubled, but as for the people, it was a great ordeal. For at night too, they could not sleep in peace and comfort. They were engaged with Rohila. They were enraged with the Rohila. Caught between the devil and the deep sea, how long could they suffer patiently? Day and night, the irritating, disquieting noise continued. It became a source of great worry for them. Okay, looks like this chapter is quite long. I will do another 10 verse and I will stop here, and then we will continue from where we stopped tomorrow. I will take 5 more minutes of your time. Thank you. Hot-tempered as the Rohila already was, to add to it, he was receiving great encouragement from Baba. He then became even more uncontrollable than before. Swollen with pride, he became arrogant and began abusing people, using foul language to people. He turned upon them, reckless and unrestrained. And then the village too turned against him. Sai, the most compassionate mother, protector of all who surrendered to him, all the people in the village now turned to him, supplicating in piteous tones. But Baba took no notice. On the contrary, it was the villagers whom he upbraided, saying, "Do not harass the Rohila. He is very dear to me. It is the wife of this Rohila who is dissolute and cannot stay with him. Hence, this termagant This shrew is eager to give him a slip and come to me. The wretched woman has no modesty and is without shame. Even if she is driven out, she forces her way into the house. The moment he stops his shouting is the opportunity for the shrew to enter. But as he resumes his clamorous recitations, she flees, leaving him pure of body, speech and mind, which is greatly conducive to my peace and happiness. Do not cross his path. Let him shout full-throatedly. Without him, I cannot pass the night in peace. He brings me great pleasure. His shouting in this manner is greatly beneficial to me. Thus, this Rohila is my benefactor and a source of great comfort to me. Let him cry out to his heart's content, for there lies my good, or else that wicked Rohili will cause me great pain. Himself, when he gets tired, he will on his own keep quiet. So will your purpose be achieved, and that shrew will not wrestle with me either. When Maharaj himself said this, there was no other alternative. Moreover, if Baba's mind was not in the least perturbed, what business was it of ours to complain? So we'll stop here and we'll understand who is the shrew and what is Baba talking here. Let's wait for tomorrow and let's unravel this beautiful truth. Thank you all once again for joining me. Om Shri Mahaganapate Namaha, Om Shri Gurudev Datta, Om Shri Sachidananda Sadguru Sai Maharaj Ki Jai, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Digambara Digambara, Shripad Vallabha Digambara, Om Shri Krishna Gurunathanatha, Shri Guruve Namaha, Om Devi Durgaya Namaha, Om Shri Krishna Arpanam Namastu, Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum.